it's cold outside.
It is freezing outside, not just cold.
6 degrees, snowy,
Yes.
winter wonderland. Coming up here, I could see through the trees so good, and it looks beautiful out there, but when you go out, it kind of takes your breath away.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And hurts your face.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what do you think about having a discussion around HeartWork?
HeartWork, yes.
HeartWork.
Not
yes.
to be confused with hard work.
Yeah. Well, we've all know what hard work is, and we are at it every day usually, and but hard work can be difficult too.
I would say hard work is more difficult than hard work.
Yay.
That's what everybody wanted to
Right?
hear.
Yay. But actually, hard work doesn't have to be this difficult, painful thing. It can be, as you practice it, as you step into it, there can be some growth that happens in our ability to describe what's going on in our heart. I've always struggled with, how to communicate what's really going on in my heart. So, I get together with buddies, and we can be going through really difficult times, but we talk about the new bow we got, the new arrows we're shooting, the new gun we got. Did we, are we going to get a new driver for our golf clubs? What we talk about all these things, but
where you're applying for tags.
Yeah,
who's going.
it's anything but what's happening in our heart, because we just don't go there.
Yeah.
So the ability or the skill. So I got this knife last year for Christmas. It's one of my favorite knives, and inscribed on it says to live life skillfully, and just reminds me that hard work, it is a skill that you have to develop, right? So I think that'd be a great conversation today.
I think that's a great conversation also. I think so many of us focus on the day-to-day tasks. We are a society of it needed to be done yesterday.
Yeah.
How do I get it done as efficiently and quickly as possible? And that keeps us to the facts. And it does not leave us a ton of time to sit with ourselves or our intuition, listen to ourselves, listen to our heart. And I think another thing you and I have been talking about a lot is how we are very focused on what other people think or feel or how they are versus ourselves.
Yeah.
Which, if we're so focused on everybody else, we're not listening to our own heart.
Yeah, right.
And we're certainly not going to ask for what we want or need
And
of
a
someone
lot
else.
of times we don't even know, right?
If we can figure it out.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's really the hard part. I think one of the things that I've seen is this, when we don't have a clear understanding of what we want or what we need, we're constantly faced with going after the next task, get it done, and we're always behind. You start to feel like you're not enough no matter how hard you work, and you feel like it's extremely difficult to, it's like, what's the point of working this hard and not even feel like you're making any ground up, right? So the key, I think, is, I know for men, and this is me personally, learning and practicing heart work. I just never got those skills. So over the years, growing and investing in what does that really look like, it's starting to help me communicate and even just understand my own heart. My heart can lead me to things that are not good, but my heart can lead me to things that are good.
Yes.
Right? I think our hearts help us understand the issues that are going on. The issues of life come out of your heart. They're rooted down deep in your heart. But we're so busy on the surface, like you were saying.
It's safe there.
Right? We can operate there. It's safe. We don't have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
We don't have to go down deep into that painful place. So I think maybe we should come up with some, or share some of the tools for doing heart work.
What have you found most beneficial on your journey in heart work?
I just have to be honest that in my heart, I've got some brokenness and some pain. I like to ignore it all the time. So that's been the biggest thing, is just to acknowledge that there are some issues in my heart that I've not dealt with. And just acknowledging that helps me say, okay, everything's not all good. Because we want to make it all, for me to ignore it, I got to say everything's good.
Right.
Right?
And I think that's like a fake facade that we have to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of how much I appreciate my tribe when I can say, I can ask, how are you today, or how's your weekend, and they're like, not great.
Yeah.
Because it's honest and it's raw, and I think a lot of times we're afraid to be honest with each other because I mean, there's a lot of reasons we don't want to be honest with each other, but one thing is we're worried that they're going to ask more questions, and we have to be vulnerable and talk about it, and sometimes we don't have to. So like when somebody is honest with me of like, I'm just not in a good space today.
Yeah.
My only question is, what do you need from me?
For me, there's no way I'm going to say, I'm not good. That was my thinking. I'm good, because I don't want to go there. I don't want to go any further than I have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why for me to say, can I even acknowledge, I've got some issues that are going on in my heart that aren't good.
Well, and it depends upon who's asking too, right?
Right,
like
right.
The clerk at Cabela's, no, you're not going to say, I'm awful.
Yeah.
But knowing those safe people in
Yeah.
your life and when, and I will say, I have been habitually that person that I will be struggling to the nth degree, and by golly, I am not going to let anybody know.
Yeah.
And in the last year or so, I got so sick of hearing, I don't know how you do it all. I can't believe you are Superwoman. I feel like those are offensive and pressuring. I know they meant them well.
Right,
I'm not
right.
saying that they were being mean to me, but I then said, okay, I can't ask them to change what they're saying to me. I have to change how I'm being.
Yeah.
So instead, when I hear, I don't know how you do it all, I say I don't.
Yeah.
So that's just a little way of
maybe what they perceive, you're helping them see. It's
Yeah.
not all. The
Yeah.
image that you see isn't all, behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And then once I kind of started testing the waters with that, and people were like, oh, well, you always seem to have it all together. Like, sometimes I'm still late picking up my kids, and sometimes I burn dinner, and sometimes I forget about a big meeting, and whatever.
There's really nobody who has it all together.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But once I got comfortable doing that, then it became, all right, the next challenge is when somebody in my inner tribe, super safe people, say or ask how I am, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that's the piece of, I can be honest and say I'm really not good, or things are falling apart, and then I can also say, and I'm not ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So that's a good point. I'm I'm just thinking about you as a female. You have more skills, typically, talking with your girlfriends and talking with other people that, this is where I'm at, this is how I'm feeling, or I'm not good, but I'm not ready to talk about it. Simple communication, but you've developed that skill. I think for guys, we just haven't developed that skill. I know I haven't. I know a lot of the guys that I hang out with, it's just not what we're taught. We're just taught totally differently to, you know what, life's hard, get over it, move on, and it's all good. Keep going. And you get up and you go through the same thing the next day. And it just starts to build up, and you never really get to process or go to that place where you can deal with those issues in your heart. And they keep coming out sideways. You get frustrated. You get, it's just like they grow. They grow. The more you ignore them, the more they grow. So being able to have some skills to say, okay, who are my safe people? Mm-hmm. Am I ready to talk about it? When will I be ready to talk about it? But starting to be proactive about doing hard work. Just little bits of practice go a long way, right? So
what you're talking about is intentional, right? So
yes,
figure out
yes.
that time. It can be 5 minutes a day just to check in with yourself. And I've noticed that I do it multiple times a day, best practice, multiple times a day, right? When I'm getting up, okay, how do I feel? Oh man, I'm a little sore. Oh man, maybe I didn't sleep very good, or whatever. Okay, but then asking, what do I need to be just that little bit better, right? Or what do I need to get that off my chest? Or what do I need to counteract what I'm feeling? And it doesn't even mean I have to tell anybody about it.
Yeah, but you're just being honest with yourself, yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we're maybe talking about is, in order to do HeartWork, we have to be honest with ourselves first.
And that's that first initial step of just saying, okay, I'm acknowledging that I've got some, and the word I go to is, I feel like brokenness just helps me see that, I have to take this seriously. Mm-hmm. My heart's a little broken in this area, or I have this issue, or this seems to keep coming up, in my relationships, in how I feel. Why is that? Well, it's tied to a root of something that happened, and I started to develop this coping mechanism around it, or some type of way to get through it, but I never went back and addressed it, right? I didn't do the hard work around that. Yeah. So for me, I've got to have like a checklist when I'm learning something new. When I'm going in, I wanna be able to say, okay, did I do this right? Did I do this right? Okay. And when I'm learning something new, that's really helpful. Mm-hmm. So for me, where I started to learn how to do heart work was, okay, identifying there is some brokenness there. Where is that brokenness in how I'm coping with it? Is it leading me to a good place, or is it leading me to a bad place? And then we can talk about that. The next one is, am I letting the people around me understand what I'm going through? Mm-hmm. I'm not good at that, but when I do it, wow, does that build connection? So I think you got to really pick those people very carefully.
Yes.
Right? And then
because if you get up the courage to share and they don't receive it well, or it isn't what you want, yep, done. Never
right?
Doing that again.
Right. So even if you've got the right person and you've picked that person, and say it's your spouse, or say it's your close friend, accountability partner, whatever it is, and it's going to be bumpy. Because you're figuring something out. You're learning a new skill.
Yes.
And you're not going to be excellent at it right away, right? Mm-hmm. So give yourself some grace. Give them some grace.
Yep.
right? And then step into that, okay, I've got to acknowledge that everything's, I'm not gonna give it that fake, it's all good. There are some things, I don't know how to talk about them yet, or I'm not ready to talk about them. Those are all totally good answers,
Yes.
right? But communicating that, I'm not sure where this is leading me, but it seems like I keep bumping into this issue. So it must be leading me to that, and I don't want to go there. I want to grow past that. So just having that type of communication, and then intentional checkpoints of saying, okay, this is where I let you understand where I'm at right now in my heart. And I don't know a lot about it, but here's what I'm learning. And then the final thing, I think, is addressing expectations. Are my expectations realistic or unrealistic? Are they, what could be? That's a great discussion to have with your safe person. What do you think are realistic expectations? Because your spouse's brokenness is probably different than your brokenness, right?
Right.
They may be able to give some good insight of saying, well, I think this is, I'm not tied to a lot of the pain you're dealing with, but outside looking in, that I would think these would be realistic expectations. That could be a really great conversation. But does it have to, it's not like, here's all my stuff, fix me. Well, that's how guys operate, right? We think that I'm gonna take this vulnerability risk, so just fix it now. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. And I think I'm glad that the idea of brokenness works for you. A lot of times I talk about we just need to renovate. Here in the Midwest, I mean, how
That's
many
a good
houses
idea.
do you go into that, there might still be some lime green linoleum, we see
Yeah.
some pink bathtubs still, right? Like, it's just outdated.
Yeah.
And that's just it. We are constantly evolving as people. We are one, I'll use the big word, hermeneutic circle, right? Every day
Yeah.
we have new experiences, we apply those to our old experiences, and then we grow from it, and it
Yeah.
just keeps going. And so I talk all the time about renovating. Okay, well, how long do you want your leaky faucet?
Yeah.
How long do you want,
Oh,
the
man.
light switch to flicker every time?
Oh,
Like, how irritating is
This-
it for you
this
yet?
begins to explain everything. So, see if anybody can relate to this. You start a project in your house, and you're gonna do something, guys, I'm talking to you. You're gonna do something in your house, you can do a project, and you get it started, and you look back after a couple years and it's still not finished. I have so many of those. It's because it's like, oh, I can call that good. That's good. I don't want to go back to that, right? That was painful. Some of those projects turn into really frustrating.
Yeah.
That's a great way the renovation to completion. Well, or ongoing renovation.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
So-
think about it. Say you buy a house at 20 and you die at 80. I mean, hopefully later, right? But so for 60 years, you're in the same house. Are you going to want to keep it the exact same way? Is it going to meet the needs of you? Because
Yeah, family
Yeah.
changes, different.
yeah,
You know,
your needs
yeah.
change. I mean, eventually you maybe need to get rid of stairs. You need a first floor bathroom.
Right,
You
right.
need a space for a bigger kitchen table, whatever that looks like. But we're all the same way internally.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of all of the renovation projects in our house that we've done, and I'm trying to come up with one that is like complete. I don't know of one yet complete. I'm sure there's, no, I've got close on some.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking my floors. I've done a lot. No, I got a few.
I mean, if you put
Yeah.
it off long enough, then you're gonna need to renovate it completely because the style's gonna change, your needs
That-
gonna change. So I mean, why finish it, right?
Right. So, you get to this place where we settle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then where it wasn't finished, some of the issues creep back up, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you do all this work.
It's kind of like what happens just when you half-ass it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my husband will tell anybody that I'm great at projects and getting them done, but I will cut corners because I'll run out of time.
Yeah.
And then it still creates the same
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah. So we are in that cycle where we're just grinding, we're trying to get the work that we get paid to do done, we're trying to save money by doing projects ourselves, we're trying to get ahead any way we can, and we only have so much time, and we still like to have a little bit of life, but then you're at, events, you want to be there as many and as much as you can for the kids, and as much as involvement as you can have, and it's like it just, your energy is not this unlimited resource, right?
Right.
So I think of projects I've got to do, I would rather go help somebody with one of their projects, just because I've been looking at my projects. So maybe that's a club. It's the finishers club. You
Just
get
go
to
around
get
and help each other.
you help somebody else with their project, but then they come to you. That's when I get projects done, is when somebody comes and helps me do it, right?
Well, and it's way more fun to do it with somebody than by yourself.
Okay, that's huge. This work that we keep trying to do by ourselves, HeartWork, it's way more fun when you do it with somebody you enjoy being around.
Well, and I think they're giving you that validation and normalizing, because in our minds we create this story. If we think back to the Matrix, we create these stories in our mind of, oh, nobody else feels this way.
Right.
I'm the only one.
Yeah, we write that story. We write it all the time. Yeah. And then we're left with the conclusions we draw with our incomplete, incorrect story. And then the issues creep back up again. So moving and doing that heart work and just being intentional, being honest, being vulnerable. And then I think as you start to lay out then healthy expectations, now action steps can start to happen. We've got to do this discussion one time on the crazy aid.
Yeah, so we've talked about it so many times, and then we never do.
It keeps coming up because that's where, so we need to get that visual, because really, you can talk about stuff all the time, and if there's the action steps don't follow, then it just, we should renovate. Well, we get started and it's that's as far as I can go with that.
Yeah. Or I'm burned out in it, or something
I
else
need
that's
help.
part, right?
Yeah.
We hit all these roadblocks,
Yeah.
and we can name a million of them.
Yeah.
One thing I want to circle back to real quick is the communication piece. I think it's so important that almost that the expectation and the communication come together, because if, and this is so common, I think, right? The difference between the way the man brain and the woman brain works, but also just in general. For me, professionally, when my team comes to me with a problem, I will ask, are you coming to vent, or do you want to problem solve? Because
good.
it changes the way I'm listening.
Yeah.
Because if I'm, a fixer,
Right.
then
Right.
I'm already thinking of solutions, and then when I say, oh, great, well, just, how about we do X, Y, and Z, you didn't even listen to me. You didn't even hear me. What they wanted was to just vent and be validated. And then I canceled out the whole thing.
That's a great point. I have been so guilty of, I'm thinking about solutions and fixing before I've really even heard all the way. And it's like, oh, I got a solution for you. Here you go. And that is the last thing
Right.
that Jennifer came to me with and said, I need to talk. So now we are starting to use that language of saying, hey, I just need to vent here. I just need to process through this. Or, hey, I need your advice on something.
Yeah.
Now that helps me know how to listen.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you
That's
set the
really good.
expectation right off the bat.
Yeah.
So that's where when I was saying, like, I will say I'm not in a good place and I'm not ready to
Ready to-
process it yet, because I don't want them coming. I mean, I have a wonderful tribe. They're going to ask me some really good questions to really dig in. But if I'm not ready, I'm going to be frustrated, irritated, hurt, all these things. And then it's going to create this rupture between us.
Yeah.
And it's going to make it where my sharing and being honest didn't feel good.
Right.
And then I don't probably want to do it again.
Right. Yeah, it just starts to build up that resentment, build up that I'm not enough. I tried, but it didn't work, and so it stalls out, and you're stuck, right?
So what do we do when people get in the stuck piece? Like, how are we? Because I would imagine when we're I mean, I've been there, you've been there. When we're learning to do this, we still are practicing. We're not perfect at it.
Right.
We never will be.
Right.
But when we get stuck, what does that look like? And what are maybe some other things that people can do or ask themselves when they're stuck to push past?
Well, I think a couple things jump out. One, this is one of those areas that's really hard to measure. Because it doesn't feel like you're winning, but you may be.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not measuring, how do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be vulnerable and have an intentional weekly conversation. And it went terrible this week. Okay, well, you know what? Step into it again next week.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Mm-hmm.
Keep stepping in. If I am struggling with target panic, shooting a bow, and I just am struggling with I can't even get close to the target, and I want to let that thing go. And that's frustrating, and you can do better, but sometimes that creeps up, right, in our life, and we have to figure out, okay, how do I get past this? Well, in archery, you have a measurement immediately following your action step.
Yeah.
You have immediate outcome, right?
Not so much with people.
Not so much with people or your own heart. But there are some ways that you can start to say, okay, what would look like how do I know if I'm winning? I don't feel like I'm winning. It's painful, it doesn't feel good, I don't want to go back this, but if I'm taking the steps to say, okay, what a win's going to look like is once a week, I'm going to engage in this no matter what.
And all we can do is control ourselves, and I think this attends to how we almost always gauge whether we're winning or not on other people's responses or reactions. And really, we have to start being a little selfish of, I don't care what anybody else thinks.
It's that
Me.
This is me learning to live skillfully. And so I think there's some really key things is look for some safe people that can help. Look for some instruction, new instruction that maybe you haven't looked for in the past. Look for, but lay those things out. And I think the alternative is you just take another lap through that issue and pain. It's just going to continue. So if you can say, no, I'm going to identify what I can learn. I'm going to keep stepping in. I'm going to keep developing action steps. All those are little wins. And then pretty soon you'll look back and go, wow, I'm further along here than I thought. I am winning. I didn't believe I was, but I actually am, right?
Absolutely.
And I think remember you're developing a skill. HeartWork is a skill. And I think when you can make a commitment to say, okay, for this next season, I'm going to get around some other people that are doing HeartWork or going in the same direction. I'm going to get around and have some points on my weekly calendar, daily I'm gonna have a check-in with, just myself. I'm gonna journal, maybe. There's all sorts of these different ways that you can start to identify and begin to measure, even when it doesn't feel like you're winning, you actually are.
Yeah.
So HeartWork, the way to win is stop ignoring it, right? And just say, okay, my heart, it's valuable. I need to take care of it. And I'm not talking about your physical heart, right? It's the renovations that need to happen in your life.
Absolutely. So there are two books. One is right over here that I think have been really helpful. Dan, did you want to say something? One is The Road Less Traveled. Have you read it?
No, I have not read that.
So this one is a good one. Psychology of Love, Traditional Values, and Spiritual Growth. And it asks some good questions, has some really good examples of other people's stories in it. Super easy to read. And then the other one that I really like is The Warrior Poet's Way. And each chapter has a task that you do before you go on, and that kind of brings in, it's like a guide to some of that work.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Like this book asks some good questions too. Like those are good guides, right? To start, okay, I know I need to do the heart work, but
yeah, where do I start?
What does that look like? I've never done it. I've never seen other people do it. Those are just two examples. There's a lot of great ones out there.
I think the Road Less Traveled, The Road Back to You is one that I've read that it's by Ian Crone, and that one has been really helpful to me, just to help me understand who I am, where I am when I'm not at my best. What does that look like? And then what's some of the potential that I possess on how I'm made? So how will my skills look? Because that's the thing about, your skill is going to be developed within your framework and your personality and your experiences, but it can become a very beautiful skill, right? So all of us, that's the thing, it's not a cookie cutter thing, right? But if we don't do the work on us and our skill, then we just keep going through the cycle.
Yes.
We stay stuck.
Which sucks.
Yeah, it
and then
doesn't have to be.
Eventually we just get used to the suck, and then and I think that's something to acknowledge, is going through this process of doing the heart work is going to feel foreign and uncomfortable, and it's going to be really tempting to go back to our old cycles and themes and patterns because it's going to be comfortable.
Well, and to me, the constant in my life that prevents me from, whether it's working out or finishing a project, it's just getting started. Once I'm started, then it's like, okay, we're rolling. And sometimes, in fact, most of the times, when a buddy says, hey, I'm coming over, let's do that, let's knock that out, then you're like, okay, I gotta get that, we're gonna do this, I'm gonna get help, and it's such a good time, and it gets done, right? So think of that with HeartWork. You don't have to go it alone. And find your people and say, let's do some heart work and let's get started. Well, how are we gonna do it? I don't know yet. How are we gonna, we're gonna just do it together. Let's go, let's get started.
And I think most people know of somebody else. So, right, I think we've talked, this is probably easier for women to start than men. But I think truthfully, when men start to have this conversation, everybody knows a man that has done some good work.
Yeah.
And then, oh, well, let me ask him what he did.
Right.
Or let's do this, or somebody heard about a book, or let's just get together and talk on Sundays and say that we're going to be vulnerable with one thing.
Yep. just get started.
Yeah.
Find some people and get started. Yeah, I think that's how we get through our renovations.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
just get started.
Get started. There you have it. HeartWork. Just get started.